Good evening, everyone. Life has a way of nudging us towards something new when we least expect it. Maybe you've been feeling stuck, maybe things haven't been working out the way you planned, or maybe you're just unsure of what's next. But let me tell you this, when you reach that point where you feel like you're at a dead end, that's when you're being called to something greater. That's when you're being led to a new path, and sometimes it's not the one you thought you'd walk. It's not easy, it's not always clear, but trust that the universe, that divine hand, knows exactly what you need. We spend so much time holding on to what feels familiar, even if it's not right for us. We're afraid to let go because we don't know what comes next. But when you stop clinging to what no longer serves you, you make room for something better. You create space for the opportunities that are waiting for you. Every door that closes isn't rejection, it's redirection. And when you trust that, you'll find that the very thing you've been searching for has been waiting for you all along on a new path. Now, here's the thing about a new path, it's not always smooth. It may be filled with uncertainty. You may question yourself. You may feel like you're not ready. But let me remind you, the fact that you're here means you are. The fact that you've been led to this moment means you've already got everything you need inside of you to take the first step. It's not about knowing all the answers, it's about having the courage to move forward, trusting that the road will rise to meet you. There will be times when you stumble, when the way seems too hard, but don't let fear of the unknown keep you from moving. Don't let doubt stop you from taking that step. You are being guided by something greater than you can see, and when you walk in that faith, you'll find that the path becomes clearer with every step. So when you feel like you're at a crossroads, remember this: God knows you need a new path, and He's already set it before you. All you have to do is trust the journey, trust yourself, and trust the process. It may not look like what you imagined, but it's exactly what you need. Keep moving forward. The best is yet to come. Sometimes life has a way of whispering to us that something isn't quite right. It starts as a soft feeling, maybe a discomfort in your routine or a nagging sense that you're meant for something more. But as time goes on, those whispers get louder. You might find yourself feeling restless in places where you used to feel secure, or you notice that the things that once brought you joy no longer fill you up the way they used to. That's the nudge. It's that deep inner stirring that tells you something needs to shift. It's life's way of guiding you toward a new direction, even if you don't fully understand what it is yet. Maybe it's that job you've been holding on to, but you feel no passion for anymore. Maybe it's the relationships that aren't feeding your soul. Or maybe it's just a sense that you're stuck, like you're going through the motions, but not really living the life you're meant to live. The nudge doesn't always show up in obvious ways. It can come in small moments, like waking up one day and realizing you're no longer excited about the things that once made you leap out of bed. Or maybe it shows up as frustration, like you're trying so hard to make things work, but they just keep falling apart. That frustration, that's the universe trying to get your attention. It's saying, this isn't where you're supposed to be anymore. And here's the thing: we often ignore those signs. We try to push them down thinking, this is just a phase, or maybe I'm just being ungrateful. We convince ourselves that staying where we are is safer because at least it's familiar. But deep down, we know when we've outgrown something. We know when it's time to move, to stretch, to reach for something greater. Recognizing the nudge requires you to get quiet. It requires you to listen to your own heart, to the messages life is sending you. It's about paying attention to those moments of discomfort and asking yourself, what is this trying to tell me? Because here's the truth: those nudges are never random. They're there for a reason. They're guiding you to the next level of your journey. But let me tell you, it takes courage. It takes courage to listen to that voice inside of you that says, I need something different. It's easy to stay where you are, but growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Growth happens when you're willing to step into the unknown and trust that the nudge is leading you somewhere better. So the next time you feel that unease, that restlessness, don't push it away. Don't silence it. Recognize it for what it is: a divine call to step into something new. Trust that life is always leading you toward your highest good, even if the path isn't clear yet. Trust that when you follow that nudge, you're opening the door to opportunities and experiences that are beyond anything you could have imagined. Because here's the thing, when life nudges you, it's not a question of if you need to change. It's a question of how you're going to respond. Will you stay stuck, clinging to what's familiar? Or will you have the faith to step forward into the unknown, trusting that something greater is waiting for you on the other side? That's the choice only you can make. Letting go of the familiar, it's one of the hardest things we ever have to do. We hold on to what we know because it feels safe, it feels predictable, it feels like something we can control. The job we've had for years, the relationships we've built, the routines we've settled into, they become a part of our identity, a part of who we think we are. But here's the truth: holding on to what's familiar, even when it no longer serves us, keeps us from growing. It keeps us from becoming who we're meant to be. There's a kind of comfort in the known, isn't there? Even when deep down we realize it's no longer working, we convince ourselves to stay because the unknown feels too scary, too uncertain. We tell ourselves that maybe if we just try a little harder, things will get better. Maybe if we wait it out, the joy will come back, the spark will reignite. But what we don't realize is that holding on to the familiar can be more damaging than letting go. It drains us, it dims our light. It keeps us in a space that's too small for the person we're becoming. Letting go doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean you failed. In fact, it's the opposite. Letting go is an act of bravery. It's a recognition that you deserve more. It's a realization that staying in the same place, doing the same thing, living the same way, isn't allowing you to step into your full potential. And sometimes the hardest part isn't even the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of leaving behind what's become comfortable, even if that comfort is no longer fulfilling. Think about the moments in your life where you felt the most alive. I bet they didn't happen when you were clinging to what you already knew. I bet they happened when you took a chance, when you stepped out of your comfort zone, when you released your grip on the life you thought you had to live and opened yourself up to something new. Those moments, those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments that define your journey. But letting go doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It starts with acknowledging that something has shifted. It starts with listening to that inner voice that's telling you this isn't where I'm supposed to be anymore. And then it's about making peace with that realization, knowing that even though it's hard, even though it's uncertain, there is something better waiting for you on the other side. Letting go is an act of trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process. Trust that life is always moving you towards something greater, even when you can't see it yet. Here's the thing: life is dynamic. It's constantly evolving. And just as the seasons change, so do we. We grow. We evolve. And as we grow, what once felt right for us can start to feel constricting. The job that once gave you a sense of purpose no longer lights you up. The relationships that once felt like home no longer nourish your soul. That's not a sign that you've lost something. It's a sign that you're ready for more. And sometimes the only way to get to that more is by letting go of what's familiar. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But staying in a place where you've outgrown your surroundings, staying in a situation that no longer challenges or inspires you, that's even harder. It wears on your spirit. It keeps you small. And you weren't meant to live a small life. You were meant to expand, to stretch, to grow into the fullest version of yourself. And that can only happen when you let go of what's no longer serving you. So take a deep breath. It's okay to feel afraid. It's okay to not know exactly what's next. But know this: the moment you let go of the familiar, you create space for something new to come into your life. You create room for the opportunities that are meant for you, for the experiences that will push you to grow, for the people who will uplift and inspire you. You create space for the life you've always been meant to live. And the most beautiful part? When you finally let go, when you release your grip on what you thought you needed, you'll realize that the very thing you've been searching for has been waiting for you all along. It's just been waiting for you to make room for it. Making space for new opportunities requires more than just a desire for change. It demands that you clear out what's no longer serving you to create room for what's meant to come next. Often, we're so full of old habits, outdated beliefs, and unfulfilling routines that we leave no room for the very things we're asking for. We hold on to what we know, whether it's out of fear, comfort, or habit, without realizing that our hands can't reach for anything new if they're already full. You can't invite growth into a space that's already overcrowded. You can't welcome new possibilities if you're clinging to what's comfortable but stagnant. Life is always moving, evolving, shifting, and so must we. But here's the thing, new opportunities don't show up just because you want them to. They show up when you're ready for them. And being ready means you've made space. It means you've done the inner work of clearing out what's holding you back, letting go of the attachments that no longer serve you, and opening yourself up to what's possible. Now, making space isn't always easy. It often means letting go of things that you've grown used to, things that once had meaning but no longer align with where you're headed. It might mean saying goodbye to people, places, or situations that have been part of your life for years. It might mean releasing the need to control every outcome, trusting that something better is on its way, even if you can't see it yet. And that takes faith. That takes courage. But here's the beauty of it. When you create space, the universe responds. When you make room in your life, opportunities start to flow in ways you couldn't have planned. It's as if life has been waiting for you to free up just enough space so it can rush in and fill it with exactly what you need. But if you're holding on too tightly to the old, you block the flow. You keep yourself stuck in the same patterns, the same cycles, wondering why nothing seems to change. We often think we need to go out and chase opportunities, as if there's something elusive that we have to track down. But the truth is, opportunities are always present. They're around you right now in this very moment. They're waiting for you to make room for them. They're waiting for you to be open, to be available, to be ready. And being ready doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It simply means you're willing to let go of what's been and step into what could be. There's a process of unlearning that has to happen. You have to unlearn the belief that busyness is productivity. You have to unlearn the idea that holding on to something just because it's familiar is better than stepping into the unknown. You have to unlearn the fear that tells you, if I let this go, what if nothing better comes along? Because here's the truth, by holding on too tightly, you're actually closing off the very things that are meant to elevate you. Think of it like this: if you're holding on to a full glass of water, you can't pour anything new into it without it spilling over. The same is true in life. If your life is already filled to the brim with things that no longer excite you, no longer challenge you, no longer grow you, there's no room for anything fresh, anything new, anything that could potentially transform your entire existence. So how do you make space? It starts with a decision to release what's no longer serving your highest good. It starts with recognizing what's taking up unnecessary space in your mind, in your heart, in your life. Maybe it's a limiting belief that's been running in the background for too long, telling you you're not capable or worthy. Maybe it's a relationship that has grown toxic, but you're too afraid to let go. Maybe it's a job that's draining you, but you've convinced yourself that you have to stay. Whatever it is, you know what it is. Deep down, you already know. Once you acknowledge it, you can begin the process of clearing it out. It doesn't have to be all at once. It doesn't have to be dramatic. But every little shift you make, every small step you take in letting go, creates more room for what's meant for you. It's about trusting that what's ahead is far greater than anything you're leaving behind. It's about believing that the opportunities meant for you are already on their way. You just have to make room for them. When you make space for new opportunities, you're signaling to life that you're ready. You're saying, I'm open, I'm available, I'm prepared to receive, and in that openness, in that willingness to let go of what no longer fits, you create a powerful energy shift. You invite in new possibilities that align with who you are becoming, not who you've been. And here's the best part: once you make that space, once you open yourself up, the opportunities that come are often bigger, better, and more aligned than anything you could have imagined. They don't just fit, they elevate you. They expand your world. They push you to grow in ways you didn't even know you could. But none of that can happen if you're holding on too tightly to what's already past. So don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to clear out the old. Trust that in making space, you're creating room for the life you truly deserve, one that is full of purpose, passion, and endless possibilities. The opportunities are there waiting. All you have to do is make space for them to come in. When a door closes in your life, it can feel like the end of something, like a harsh stop where you thought you were supposed to be going. Maybe it's that job you didn't get, the relationship that fell apart, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers. And in those moments, it's easy to feel disappointed, to feel like you've been shut out of something you were so certain was meant for you. But here's what I've learned: every closed door is not a rejection, it's a redirection. It's life's way of guiding you towards something else, something better, something that you might not have been able to see from where you were standing. We often get so attached to the way we think things should go, the plans we've laid out, the path we believe we need to be on, that when a door closes, we feel lost. We question ourselves, wonder if we've failed or if we're not good enough. But those closed doors, they're not meant to diminish you. They're meant to shift you. Think about all the times in your life where something didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Maybe at the time it felt like a huge setback. Maybe it broke your heart or left you feeling like you were at a dead end. But now when you look back, can you see how that moment was actually a turning point? Can you see how it redirected you towards something even more aligned with who you are and where you're supposed to be? That's the thing about closed doors. They don't signal the end. They signal a change in direction. You may not understand it in the moment. You may not like it. But if you trust that life is always guiding you, then you can start to see that every door that shuts is actually clearing a path for something else. And sometimes that path isn't even visible to you yet. Sometimes it takes walking away from the closed door, stepping out in faith before you can see where you're truly meant to go. We tend to cling to what we know, what feels familiar, because it gives us a sense of security. But what if the very thing you're holding on to isn't meant for you anymore? What if the closed door is life's way of saying, there's something else, there's something more? You see, when one door closes, it's not the end of the road, it's a pivot point. It's life pushing you in a new direction, even if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. Closed doors can be some of the greatest gifts, but they often don't feel that way at first. It takes time. It takes reflection. And most importantly, it takes trust that life knows what's best for you, even when you can't see it yourself. It's about understanding that not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every path is yours to walk. And sometimes the only way to get you to where you're truly supposed to be is for life to shut a door so you can stop focusing on what's behind it and start looking at what's ahead. There will be moments when you feel like you've done everything right, but the door still closes. You've worked hard, you've shown up, you've given your all, but the result isn't what you expected. In those moments, it's easy to think that you've been denied something you deserved. But what if the closed door is protecting you? What if it's keeping you from something that wasn't meant for your growth, something that would have held you back from stepping into your full potential? The hardest thing to do when a door closes is to not take it personally, to not let it chip away at your confidence or your sense of self-worth. But when you start to see those closed doors as redirections, as a way of realigning you with your true path, you shift your perspective. You stop seeing them as failures or losses and start seeing them as opportunities for growth, for new beginnings. It's about learning to trust the timing of your life. We often want things to happen on our schedule, on our terms, but life doesn't work like that. Sometimes the timing isn't right. Sometimes you're being prepared for something bigger, something you can't even imagine yet. And sometimes the closed door is simply there to give you the space and the time you need to become the person who's ready for the next door to open. And make no mistake, another door will open. It always does. But you have to be willing to walk away from the one that's closed. You have to stop banging on it, trying to force it open, and trust that what's behind the next door is more aligned with who you are becoming. Life has a way of surprising us when we let go of the need to control every outcome. When we stop focusing on what didn't work out, we free ourselves to step into what's waiting for us. So the next time a door closes, don't see it as the end of your journey. See it as a sign that something else is unfolding, something that's meant for you, something that will make sense in time. You may not understand it right away, and that's okay. But know that the closed door is not a failure, it's a redirection. It's life steering you toward the next chapter, the next opportunity, the next version of yourself that is ready to step through a door that is truly meant for you. And when that door opens, you'll realize that every closed one before it was part of the path to getting you there. Every closed door was leading you, guiding you, preparing you for this moment. Trust in that. Trust that the journey is unfolding exactly as it's meant to, even when you can't see the whole picture yet. Because when one door closes, another one always opens, sometimes even wider, sometimes even better than you ever imagined. Embracing uncertainty is one of the greatest challenges we face in life. It's in our nature to want to know, to have clarity, to see the path ahead laid out clearly in front of us. We crave certainty because it feels safe, it gives us a sense of control. But life doesn't work that way, does it? Life is unpredictable. It throws us into situations where we don't have the answers, where the outcome is unknown, and where we have to navigate the discomfort of not knowing what's next. But here's the thing, uncertainty isn't something to fear. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a part of the journey. It's the space where growth happens, where transformation takes place. When you embrace uncertainty, you allow yourself to step into the fullness of life with all its twists and turns, knowing that it's in the unknown where the magic happens. Think about the times in your life when you grew the most. Were they the times when everything was laid out perfectly, when you knew exactly what was coming? Or were they the moments when you were thrown into something unexpected, something uncertain, something that forced you to stretch beyond your comfort zone? It's in the uncertainty that you discover your strength, your resilience, and your capacity to adapt. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. There's no denying that. It brings up fear, doubt, and anxiety. But instead of resisting it, what if you welcomed it? What if you saw uncertainty not as a threat, but as an invitation? An invitation to trust, to surrender, to let go of the need to control every outcome and instead allow life to unfold in its own perfect timing. When you resist uncertainty, you create tension. You create a struggle between where you are and where you think you should be. But when you embrace it, you step into a flow. You learn to be present, to be in the moment, rather than trying to predict or control the future. And in that presence, you find a kind of peace, a kind of freedom that can only come when you release your grip on the need to know everything. It's about shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing uncertainty as something to avoid, see it as an opportunity. Uncertainty is where possibilities live. When you're uncertain, the path ahead is wide open. Anything can happen. And that's where the beauty lies. It's in the unknown that new doors open, new ideas form, and new opportunities arise. When you embrace uncertainty, you're opening yourself up to a world of potential that you might not have even considered. Often we get so fixated on wanting a specific outcome that we limit ourselves. We narrow our focus thinking we know what's best for us, but in doing so, we block the flow of what life is trying to bring our way. Embracing uncertainty allows you to release those limitations. It allows you to say, I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but I trust that whatever happens, it's leading me to where I'm supposed to be. Think of uncertainty as a blank canvas. You don't know what the finished painting will look like, but that's the beauty of it. You get to co-create with life. You get to explore, to experiment, to try new things without being tied to a particular outcome. And in that process, you often find that what emerges is even better than anything you could have planned. But embracing uncertainty requires trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust in life. It's about believing that you have the inner resources to handle whatever comes your way, even if you can't see the full picture yet. It's about knowing that life is always working for you, not against you, and that every twist and turn is part of the unfolding of your journey. There will be moments when uncertainty feels overwhelming, when you're standing at a crossroads with no clear direction. In those moments, it's easy to want to retreat, to go back to what feels familiar, even if it no longer serves you. But here's the truth: staying in the familiar out of fear of the unknown only keeps you stuck. It keeps you from stepping into the fullness of who you are meant to be. Growth doesn't happen in certainty. Growth happens when you're willing to step into the unknown, to embrace the discomfort, and to trust that whatever lies ahead is exactly what you need to become the person you're meant to be. When you embrace uncertainty, you're telling life, I'm ready for whatever comes. I'm open to the possibilities. And when you do that, you begin to see that uncertainty isn't something to be feared. It's something to be celebrated, because in the uncertainty, there's room for change, for transformation, for growth in ways you never imagined. It's in the uncertainty that life surprises you, that unexpected blessings show up, and that you find new strength within yourself. So when uncertainty comes, and don't resist it, don't fight against it, lean into it, embrace it. Know that it's not a sign that you're off track, it's a sign that you're being guided in a new direction, a direction that's leading you toward greater possibilities. Uncertainty is not the enemy. It's the space where you get to discover just how capable, adaptable, and resilient you really are. And when you embrace uncertainty, when you step into that unknown with faith, you'll find that it's not as scary as it seems. You'll find that more often than not, life has a way of working out in ways that are even better than you could have planned. All you have to do is let go of the need to control, to predict, and to know and trust that life and all its uncertainty is leading you exactly where you need to be. Trusting in timing is one of the most powerful yet difficult lessons in life. We live in a world that values immediacy, where we're taught that if we work hard enough, want something badly enough, and push long enough, we should get it. But life doesn't always operate on our timelines. It has its own rhythm, its own flow, and its own timing, and often that timing doesn't align with our desires or our plans. But here's the truth: everything unfolds when it's meant to, not a moment sooner and not a moment later. Trusting in timing means believing that there's a divine order to how things happen. It means accepting that some things need to be delayed for our growth, for our readiness, or for factors beyond our control that we can't even see. It's about understanding that delays aren't denials, and that just because something isn't happening right now doesn't mean it's never going to happen. Sometimes life is working behind the scenes in ways we can't comprehend, arranging the right people, the right circumstances, and the right opportunities to come together at the perfect moment. But trusting in timing can be hard, especially when you're in the waiting period. It's natural to feel impatient, to wonder why things aren't happening the way you expected, or why it seems like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still. You see others achieving their goals, living their dreams, and you start to question yourself. What about me, you think? Why hasn't it happened for me yet? But the thing about timing is that it's not about comparison. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it's unfolding in its own perfect way. When you trust in timing, you allow yourself to let go of the need to control every step. You release the pressure to force things to happen, to make things fit into a timeline that might not be aligned with your highest good. Trusting in timing means surrendering to the process and recognizing that what's meant for you will come in the right way and at the right time. You don't have to rush or chase it. You don't have to hustle so hard that you exhaust yourself trying to make something happen before it's time. There's a certain peace that comes with trusting in timing. It's the peace that comes from knowing that life is always unfolding for your highest good, even when it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes what looks like a setback or a delay is actually life giving you the time you need to grow, to heal, or to prepare for what's coming next. You might not understand it in the moment, but when you look back, you'll see that the timing was perfect all along. Think about the times in your life when things didn't go according to your plan. Maybe you were passed over for a job you really wanted, or a relationship ended unexpectedly, or an opportunity you'd been hoping for slipped away. At the time, it probably felt like everything was falling apart. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, can you see how those moments were actually aligning you with something better? Can you see how in the waiting you were being prepared for something greater than you could have imagined? That's the beauty of trusting in timing. It allows you to release the fear and the frustration that come with trying to control things you can't control. It allows you to rest in the knowledge that life is working for you, not against you, even when the path isn't clear. And in that rest, you find a sense of calm, a sense of trust that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, even if it doesn't look the way you thought it would. It's easy to feel like you're behind, especially when you're comparing your journey to someone else's. But life isn't a race. There is no finish line. We each have our own unique path, and everything unfolds at the pace it's meant to. Some people may achieve their goals quickly, while others take longer, but that doesn't mean one path is better than the other. It just means we're all on different timelines, and that's okay. Trusting in timing also means recognizing that sometimes, no matter how hard you work or how badly you want something, it might not happen because it's not the right time. And that's not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. It's simply life protecting you from something that's not aligned with your current state of being. Sometimes the delay is actually a blessing in disguise. It's giving you the time to become the person who's ready for the next level of your journey. And sometimes the very thing you think you want isn't what's meant for you at all. Life has a way of guiding us toward what we need, even when we don't realize it. You might be fixated on one outcome, but life is steering you in a different direction because it knows that what's waiting for you down the road is far greater than anything you could have planned for yourself. But to receive that, you have to trust in the timing. You have to trust that everything is happening for a reason, even if you can't see it right now. It's not easy to trust in timing when things aren't going the way you hoped. It requires faith. It requires patience. It requires a willingness to surrender to the unknown and to believe that life is always working in your favor. But when you do, you open yourself up to a sense of flow. You stop pushing so hard against the current, and instead you allow yourself to be carried by the natural rhythm of life. And here's the most beautiful part: when you trust in timing, you begin to see that everything is right on schedule. The things you're meant to experience, the people you're meant to meet, the opportunities you're meant to have, they're all coming to you in their own time. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to worry about missing out. What's meant for you will never pass you by. It will find you in the right moment when you're ready to receive it. So trust in timing. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't look the way you thought it would. Trust that life is guiding you, preparing you, and unfolding for you in ways that are beyond your current understanding. And know that everything is coming together in its own perfect time. Overcoming fear and doubt is one of the most profound journeys we can take in life. Fear and doubt have a way of creeping into our hearts and minds, casting shadows over our dreams and making us question our worth, our path, and our abilities. They whisper in the quiet moments, telling us that we're not good enough, that we're not ready, that we'll fail if we even try. And too often we listen to those voices, we shrink back, we play small, and we convince ourselves that it's better to stay where we are than to step out into the unknown. But here's the truth: fear and doubt are not who you are. They're feelings, they're thoughts, but they're not your reality. They are born from the mind's desire to protect you from the discomfort of the unknown, from potential pain or failure. And while it's natural to feel them, they don't have to define you or dictate your life. The key to overcoming fear and doubt is recognizing them for what they are: temporary obstacles, not permanent barriers. They're part of the human experience, but they don't have to be part of your story forever. Fear and doubt often arise when you're on the verge of something new, something meaningful. They show up because stepping into the unknown is uncomfortable. It requires vulnerability, it requires risk, and it requires you to trust yourself in ways you might not have before. And that's scary. But it's also a signal that you're growing, that you're pushing beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. Fear and doubt show up when you're stretching into new territory. And that's exactly where you need to be if you want to evolve and expand. The first step in overcoming fear and doubt is to face them. Acknowledge that they exist, but don't give them power. Too often we try to run from our fears, pretending they don't exist, or we let them paralyze us into inaction. But when you confront them head on, when you shine a light on them, you begin to see that they're not as big or as powerful as you once thought. They lose their grip on you because you've taken the time to understand them. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What is this doubt trying to protect me from? Often the answers will surprise you. Fear is usually rooted in a fear of failure, of rejection, or of not being enough. But failure is not the end, it's a stepping stone. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth, it's redirection. And being enough is not something you have to earn, it's something you already are. When you start to dismantle the stories that fear and doubt are telling you, you create space for courage to take root. And courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means moving forward in spite of it. It means choosing to trust yourself, even when the path ahead is unclear. Doubt, on the other hand, often comes from the belief that we're not capable, that we don't have what it takes to achieve our dreams or reach our goals. It comes from comparing ourselves to others, from thinking that because we don't have all the answers right now, we're somehow unworthy of success. But doubt is simply a reflection of uncertainty, not inability. You don't have to have all the answers to begin. You don't have to be perfect to make progress. The key is to take action in the face of doubt, to keep moving forward even when you don't feel completely ready. Action is one of the most powerful antidotes to fear and doubt. When you take even the smallest step toward your goal, you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can handle whatever comes your way. Each step builds confidence, and with each new experience, the voices of fear and doubt grow quieter. The momentum you create by taking action has a way of silencing the uncertainty because you're no longer living in your head, trapped by what ifs. You're living in the moment, doing the work, and learning along the way. It's also important to surround yourself with people who believe in you, especially when you struggle to believe in yourself. Fear and doubt can be isolating, but you don't have to face them alone. Find those people who lift you up, who remind you of your strengths, who encourage you to keep going when you want to give up. Sometimes the greatest gift is someone else's faith in you when your own faith is wavering. Lean on that support. Let it be a source of strength when your own feels depleted. And remember, this overcoming fear and doubt is not a one-time event. It's a practice, a daily choice. There will always be moments when fear sneaks back in, when doubt starts to whisper again. But every time you choose to move forward despite them, you become stronger. Every time you face your fears and take action in the face of doubt, you're rewriting your story. You're telling yourself, I can do this. I am enough. I am capable. Ultimately, fear and doubt are a natural part of the human experience, but they don't have to be the guiding force in your life. They don't have to hold you back from your dreams, your potential, or your purpose. Overcoming them is about choosing faith over fear, trust over doubt. It's about believing in your worth and your ability to handle whatever comes your way, even when the outcome is uncertain. You are stronger than your fears. You are more capable than your doubts would have you believe. The journey to overcoming them starts with one simple decision, the decision to try. To step forward even when it feels uncomfortable, to trust yourself even when the path ahead isn't clear, and to keep going even when fear and doubt try to pull you back. And as you continue on this journey, you'll begin to see that fear and doubt don't have to be barriers, they can be your greatest teachers. They show you where you need to grow, where you need to grow, where you need to trust, and where you need to have faith. And when you learn to overcome them, you step into a version of yourself that is more confident, more courageous, and more capable than you ever imagined. Believing in your inner strength is one of the most transformative acts of self-love and empowerment you can give yourself. It's about recognizing that deep within you there is a well of resilience, power, and wisdom that can carry you through anything life throws your way. It's the belief that no matter what obstacles you face, no matter how tough the road gets, you have what it takes to rise above, to persevere, and to thrive. But often we lose sight of that strength. We doubt ourselves, we look outside for validation, and we forget that the answers, the power, the courage, they've been within us all along. The journey to believing in your inner strength starts with a shift in perspective. It begins when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your destiny. It's easy to feel powerless when life is challenging, when you're faced with hardship, loss, or uncertainty. But every challenge you've overcome, every obstacle you've navigated, has been proof of your inner strength. The fact that you're still here, still standing, still moving forward, that's a testament to the power that lives inside of you. You've been through things that you thought you wouldn't survive. You faced moments where you questioned whether you had the strength to keep going. But here you are on the other side of those moments, stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. That's your inner strength at work. It's always been there, even when you didn't realize it. And the more you tap into it, the more you cultivate it, the stronger it becomes. But believing in your inner strength isn't about being invincible. It's not about never feeling fear, doubt, or vulnerability. It's about knowing that even when those feelings arise, they don't define you. Your strength isn't about pretending that everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging the difficulties, feeling the emotions, and still choosing to move forward with grace and courage. Inner strength doesn't mean you never fall down. It means you always get back up. So often we look outside of ourselves for strength. We seek approval, validation, or reassurance from others, hoping that if they believe in us, we can believe in ourselves. But true strength doesn't come from external sources. It comes from within. It comes from knowing that no matter what anyone else says or thinks, you have everything you need to navigate your path. Other people can support you, encourage you, and lift you up, but the foundation of your strength has to come from you. One of the greatest acts of self-empowerment is to trust yourself to believe that you are capable, even when the road ahead is uncertain. There will be times when the challenges seem insurmountable, when life feels too heavy, and when doubt clouds your mind. But those are the moments when your inner strength is tested and proven. Those are the moments when you dig deep, when you reach down into the core of who you are and find the courage to keep going. Believing in your inner strength also means letting go of the need to be perfect. So often we equate strength with flawlessness, with having it all together all the time. But real strength lies in your ability to show up even when things are messy. It's in your willingness to keep trying, to keep learning, and to keep growing even when you make mistakes. Perfection is not the goal, progress is. And every step you take, no matter how small, is a reflection of your strength. Another key to believing in your inner strength is recognizing that you are not defined by your past. You are not defined by your failures, your setbacks, or the moments when things didn't go as planned. Those experiences are part of your story, but they don't determine your worth or your potential. In fact, it's often in those moments of failure or disappointment that your true strength is revealed. It's when things don't go as expected that you're forced to dig deeper, to find new ways of moving forward, and to tap into parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Your inner strength is not something you have to earn, it's something you already possess. It's in your DNA. It's in every breath you take, every decision you make, and every step you walk. It's there when you wake up in the morning and face the day, even when it's hard. It's there in the quiet moments when you're unsure of what comes next, but you keep going anyway. It's there in your ability to love, to care, to show up for yourself and others, even when the weight of the world feels heavy. The world will try to tell you that you're not enough. It will bombard you with messages that make you question your worth, your abilities, and your value. But you have to be the one to quiet those voices. You have to be the one to stand in your truth and say, I am enough. I am capable. I have everything I need within me, because the moment you start believing in your inner strength, the moment you trust in your own power, is the moment your life begins to shift. You become less reliant on the opinions of others, less swayed by external circumstances, and more grounded in who you truly are. You begin to move through life with a sense of purpose, knowing that you are the author of your story. And when challenges arise, as they always will, you meet them not with fear or doubt, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their own strength. Believing in your inner strength also means being kind to yourself. It means treating yourself with compassion and understanding, especially in moments when you feel weak. Strength is not about never having moments of vulnerability or doubt. It's about loving yourself through those moments. It's about knowing that you can hold space for both your humanity and your resilience. You can be both soft and strong, tender and tough, vulnerable and powerful. And here's the most beautiful part: the more you believe in your inner strength, the more it grows. The more you trust yourself, the more confident you become in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Life will continue to test you, but each test is an opportunity to deepen your faith in yourself, to remind you of just how powerful you are. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect conditions to believe in your strength. You can start right now in this moment by simply choosing to trust yourself, by choosing to believe that no matter what, you have the strength within you to rise, to overcome, and to thrive. Faith in divine guidance is one of the most profound and transformative beliefs we can embrace. It's the understanding that we are not alone on this journey of life. There is a higher power, a greater force guiding us, supporting us, and leading us toward our true path. This faith allows us to let go of the illusion of control, to trust that there is a plan greater than our own, and to find comfort in the knowledge that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. In a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain, faith in divine guidance can be a source of immense peace and strength. It invites us to surrender our worries and anxieties, to release the need to have everything figured out, and to trust that we are being led exactly where we need to go. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or that we won't face challenges, but it does mean that we can approach those challenges with a sense of assurance and calm, knowing that there is a purpose to our struggles. When we cultivate faith in divine guidance, we open ourselves up to receiving signs and synchronicities that affirm we are on the right path. These signs can come in many forms: a chance encounter, an unexpected opportunity, or a sudden burst of inspiration. They are reminders that the universe is listening, that our prayers are heard, and that we are being nudged toward the direction we need to take. Often we might overlook these signs, caught up in our busy lives or our doubts, but when we pause and pay attention, we begin to see the threads of divine guidance woven through our experiences. This faith also encourages us to listen to our intuition, the inner voice that often speaks to us when we are still and open. Our intuition is a powerful tool that, when honed, can guide us toward choices that align with our true selves. It's that whisper that tells you to take a different route, to reach out to someone, or to pursue an opportunity that feels right. Trusting your intuition is an act of faith in divine guidance. It's recognizing that you have an inner compass that, when followed, leads you to your highest good. Letting go of control is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of having faith in divine guidance. We often want to dictate the terms of our journey, to set timelines, and to have a clear roadmap of where we're headed. But life rarely works that way. Sometimes the path is winding, filled with detours and unexpected turns. It's easy to feel frustrated when things don't go according to plan, but this is where faith truly shines. When we release our grip on the need to control, we create space for divine guidance to enter. We begin to trust that even when things don't make sense, they are unfolding in a way that is ultimately for our benefit. Believing in divine guidance also means embracing the unknown. The future is inherently uncertain, and that can be a source of fear for many of us. But when we trust that there is a greater plan at play, we can approach the unknown with curiosity rather than trepidation. We can let go of the fear of making the wrong choice or taking the wrong path, knowing that every experience, even the challenging ones, is a stepping stone on our journey. Every setback, every disappointment can lead us to new opportunities and insights that we may not have discovered otherwise. Moreover, faith in divine guidance encourages us to be patient. In a world that values instant gratification, waiting for divine timing can be a challenge. We may want answers immediately or solutions to arise quickly, but often divine guidance unfolds in its own time. It requires us to trust that everything is happening as it should, even if it doesn't align with our expectations. This patience is a testament to our faith. It shows that we believe in the process and in the timing of the universe. As we cultivate this faith, we begin to notice a shift in our perspective. We start to see life as a series of opportunities rather than obstacles. We become more open to the possibilities that surround us, more willing to take risks and step outside of our comfort zones. This faith empowers us to pursue our passions, to follow our dreams, and to take leaps of faith, knowing that we are being supported every step of the way. It's important to remember that faith is not about blind belief. It's about cultivating a relationship with the divine. It's about seeking connection, finding moments of stillness and reflection, and being open to receiving guidance. This can be through prayer, meditation, or simply spending time in nature, allowing ourselves to connect with the energy that surrounds us. When we actively engage in this relationship, we strengthen our faith and deepen our understanding of divine guidance. Building faith in divine guidance is also about community. Surrounding ourselves with people who share similar beliefs can create a supportive environment where we can explore our spirituality together. Sharing our experiences and hearing the stories of others can help reinforce our faith, reminding us that we are not alone in our journey. Community provides a space for encouragement, accountability, and shared wisdom, which can deepen our connection to the divine. The beauty of faith in divine guidance is that it invites us to embrace life with a sense of wonder and excitement. When we trust that we are being guided, we become more attuned to the magic of everyday moments. We start to recognize the beauty and serendipity in the lessons in our challenges. We learn to celebrate the small victories, to find joy in the journey, and to appreciate the richness of the experiences that shape us. Ultimately, faith in divine guidance is about trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust in the universe. It's about believing that we are exactly where we are meant to be and that everything is unfolding in a way that serves our highest good. This faith can be a guiding light during the darkest of times, reminding us that we are never truly alone. It encourages us to keep moving forward, to embrace the unknown, and to remain open to the endless possibilities that life has to offer. As you navigate your own journey, I invite you to cultivate this faith. Allow it to guide you through the uncertainties, to inspire you in moments of doubt, and to light your path when it feels dim. Trust that you are being led, supported, and loved by a force far greater than yourself. Embrace the journey, knowing that divine guidance is always with you, illuminating your path and encouraging you to step boldly into your future. The journey unfolds with every step we take, and within that unfolding lies a tapestry of experiences, lessons, and transformations that shape who we are. Life is not just about reaching a destination, it is about the path we walk to get there, the moments we savor, and the growth we experience along the way. Every step we take is significant, carrying the potential for discovery, insight, and connection. The beauty of this journey lies in its unpredictability. It's an adventure filled with twists and turns that can lead us to places we never anticipated. As we navigate our paths, we often focus on our goals, the endpoints we aspire to reach. We become fixated on the finish line, believing that our journey will be complete once we achieve certain milestones. But the truth is that the essence of our lives resides in the journey itself. Each moment, each decision, and each encounter has the power to teach us something valuable if we are open to it. The real magic happens not in the final outcome, but in the process of becoming, evolving, and unfolding as we move through life. Embracing the idea that the journey unfolds with every step encourages us to be present. It invites us to savor each experience, no matter how small. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to rush through life, always looking ahead to what's next. But when we pause to appreciate the moment we are in, we begin to see the richness of our experiences. A simple walk can become an opportunity to connect with nature, to breathe deeply, and to reflect on our thoughts. A conversation with a friend can lead to profound insights and new perspectives. Each step we take is an invitation to engage fully with the world around us, to appreciate the beauty of the journey, and to recognize the lessons that unfold. When we view life as a journey, we start to understand that setbacks and challenges are not roadblocks but stepping stones. Every obstacle we encounter is an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn something new about ourselves and the world. It's in these moments of difficulty that we often discover our inner strength, resilience, and creativity. When we face challenges, we have the chance to dig deep, to adapt, and to find solutions that we might never have considered otherwise. The journey becomes a process of exploration, where every step, whether forward or backward, contributes to our understanding of who we are and what we are capable of. The unfolding journey also emphasizes the importance of patience. Life doesn't always move at the pace we desire. We may want immediate results, quick fixes, and instant gratification, but often the most meaningful transformations take time. When we embrace the unfolding process, we learn to trust that each step we take, no matter how small, is part of a larger narrative. We learn to have faith in the timing of our lives, to allow things to develop naturally, and to recognize that every experience is part of our unique story. This patience nurtures our ability to appreciate the journey rather than rush through it. Ultimately, the journey unfolds with every step we take, and it is a reflection of our unique life experiences. Embracing this idea invites us to be present, to learn from every moment, and to trust that we are exactly where we need to be. It encourages us to see challenges as opportunities for growth, to connect with others along the way, and to appreciate the beauty of the unfolding process.